It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. We're talking about weather. Think of it like a pizza weather party, because we're talking about riding the cool wave. One of the things we could talk about in this weather pattern that we're now in post-Hurricane Aaron scare, because it really wasn't a landfalling hurricane, but it did have some impact. Hurricane Aaron is no longer, but the high current risk has been persisting for days. We're going to look at that too. But I also want to talk about the drop in the humidity, which has been a really big thing. Meanwhile, you look at the ocean front, there were lots of people out there, but maybe not as many as there were earlier in the season. That's a question that you might have to answer. Have we lost the heart of summer now that school's back in session? A lot of kids have gone back to school. But low humidity for the rest of the week, fall-like weather for the end of August. Today we hit 80, by the way, 80 degrees. Think about that. That's normal for the first day of autumn. Like around the 20th, 21st, 22nd of September, we typically see a high of 80. That's what we hit today. But it wasn't August weather. It's more like late September weather. But I get ahead of myself. When you take a look, it's dry for now, but stray showers will still be possible. And Labor Day weekend may become unsettled. Boo! What do you mean? I mean, there's a coastal low likely to form off the coast of North Carolina. And if it stalls, it could spell more rain for us on Monday, which of course is September 1st, which is a new month. It's also a holiday, and really the Labor Day holiday weekend usually suggests the unofficial end of summer. So we have to explore that as well. I'm going to show you graphically what I think we're going to probably end up with, and we'll be working the kinks out of it as we get closer down the road. But as I look at the pollen forecast, this is another thing I've been talking about for weeks. Going back, the ragweed has been on the rise, typically peaks around Labor Day. But if you have someone in your family, and I mean someone, maybe it's you, maybe you have that headache behind the eye and it's like a wheezing and sneezing and you're not on your A game, maybe that's it. I'm not a doctor, I don't profess to be a doctor, but maybe ragweed next 2 days, if they're high and you don't feel 100%, maybe you should check yourself out, because that might be something that could be a problem for some of us. I have family members in the Aldrich household that struggle at times with ragweed. Not terribly bad, but some people might have it worse. And so this is the time of year that we see it. Norfolk, 76 degrees right now, after a high of 80. 75 right now in Hampton, 76 in Portsmouth. Our temperatures in Pocosin right now are at 75. Elizabeth City, 75. Our friends in Manio at 72. And it's 70 in Emporia. I've got some other notes here I want to say hi to you. A little note that came in from last week. I know, granted, I just want to telegraph that if you leave a comment, just leave it at the comment section of this post. I'll be able to see it and hopefully retrieve it. But this is from last week. This is from Cheryl. She said, thank you so much for all the updates. It helps keep us all safe. That's all I'm trying to do, right? We're doing an experiment where we can give away great weather information, first warning, but we can also give away some free pizza. Did you say free pizza? Yeah, I said free pizza. There's 5 convenient locations that are participating in this week's giveaway, and it's a short week because I was off yesterday for a birthday. WTKR.com/Marco's the place to go if you want to sign up. If you've signed up before, there's no need to sign up again, but that's where you need to go if you want to participate and actually potentially win some free pizza. But the deal of the week, what's the deal of the week? It's the lunch combo. I love this one because there are 5 opportunities and it's very time specific. It's between 11 and 3. So before you get out the door, if you're not packing your lunch, you're not putting your lunch in a brown paper bag and heading out the door, maybe you want a lunch combo you get a 20-ounce drink, either with a small one-topping pizza, a pizza bowl, a pozole, a regular-sized salad, or a 6-inch sub. I love it. And all you have to do is type this promo code, our call letters, WTKR Lunch, WTKR Lunch. I'll talk more about that coming up, but I thought you would like to know how you could save some money. $7.99, that's a deal if not a steal. I love Marco's because they give back, and they're going to be giving back some pizza certificates this Thursday. You might be the winner of a large one-topping pizza monthly for a year, and it's used as like a punch card. So we're quickly approaching September. You'll still get 12 months, but once you go through the card and so on, you'll be able to cut down on your pizza expenses, right? If you like to go to pizza once a week, once a month, you'll have that opportunity if you actually win the certificate. And the pozole is one of my favorite lunch items. The Magnifico is a great item for one topping, but check them out. And I do want to thank Marco's for being our sponsor. So let me get back to the weather. One thing that we'll note, temperatures right now are very comfortable. If you look at the current conditions, the sun technically goes down tonight at 7:41, so it's already technically down, but these are the observations, what we call METARs, basically occurred at 7 o'clock. So they're taken hourly, and at 7 o'clock it was sunny, or at least mostly clear in Franklin, Ahoskie, and Jackson, while we have a few clouds still hovering around Virginia Beach. Here's the satellite radar combination, and it would suggest a few green dots off the coast, but with a 10% chance of rain tomorrow and Thursday. Wouldn't surprise me if some of us get a sprinkle here or there, but I just don't expect much. It's not one of those things. I don't expect it to be widespread, but it's still all the same. Could be, still could be there, right? We'll watch this closely. I got another comments coming in. I want to say hi to you. I got a note from Jessica Lynn. I have somebody who actually likes this weather. If you do, let me know. Let me see here. We come back on here. She says, I'm loving this fall weather that's coming. It is like a Canadian leaf in some ways, Jessica, because it's cold air. Cooler air has origins to Canada, so we'll take it. And it's certainly a nice end to August, although some might say, hey, we're rushing it. I don't like to rush it, but we can thank in part to Hurricane Aaron pushing out to sea. It helped draw down some of that cooler air that we are going to enjoy if you haven't enjoyed it yet already. So let me keep moving. I want to show you the bigger picture. We have a front moving through central New Jersey, right along the Maryland-Pennsylvania line. There's a cold front there. There's also one off the coast. But high pressure is parked this evening over Missouri, and just wanted to shout out to anyone watching. That is our surface map as of right now. Now, the big story on the beach, right, for the last several days, the rip current risk has been pretty high. But now, when it's under 4 feet, usually 4 feet is the threshold for moderate to high risk. If it's 4 feet or higher, you have a higher risk for getting some rip currents that are maybe on the higher side of the scale. But tomorrow is pretty comfortable. It's 78 degrees. You got a wind that's 5 to 10. That's pretty inviting. And the water's warmed up all summer, so I don't think you'll complain about the temperature of the water. It's still in the mid-70s. I would say get out and enjoy it the next 2 days if you have the opportunity to get away from work or school. What do you do if you're caught in a rip current? We've talked about this before. Don't try to fight the current. Swim parallel to the shore. And if you can't, then float or tread water. And if you need help, call or wave for assistance. These are tips, very good tips, any time of the year. Now, out in the middle of the Atlantic, we have what's left of Fernan. But fear not, Fernan. We could say farewell, Fernan. Not Fernando. Somebody was joking like, you look marvelous. You look marvelous. He's marvelous if he stays out to sea. That's what he's going to do. But this storm, right? They say Fernan is moving out, so we don't have to worry about this storm down the road. The potential was, and that's the only game in town right now. The tropical activity has come down to a screeching halt, at least for the moment. Could that change down the road? Absolutely, it could change. It would be silly to think that, oh, we could stick a fork in it, the tropics are done, but we have to watch what happens. As you can see, from the National Hurricane Center, Tropical Storm Fernan, it will likely become a remnant low as early as Thursday, and then it moves out to sea, so we're not going to worry about his impact. Clearly, like we did with Aaron. Aaron obviously gave everybody a wake-up call, right? A wake-up call. Fernan, where are you getting this pronunciation? Well, isn't it interesting? Forecaster Derek Getter, one of our weather team members, thought nice to put together a little graphic, a little illustration of where and how the Hurricane Center likes to lead us in the pronunciation guide. Like Uberto, would you necessarily know to emphasize the and then Imelda. I think we all probably know how to pronounce Jerry and Aaron, but it's nice to have a pronunciation key. And I think Van's probably the easiest one. That pronunciation is V-A-N. So, and I think most of us know how to pronounce windy. But some of these names, I mean, let's face it, there are times where you're like, well, how do I exactly say that name? Okay, well, here you have a pronunciation guide that's on the Hurricane Center website. It was nice that Derek put that together, so I love having that come in. And we'll see if there are any more comments. Let me know. Love to say hi to, see here, I got Luke. Well, he's excited about the weather. I think he likes it. And Kim Thompson-Jones, I know she's a fan. She's a fan of the cooler weather. She says, and I'm going to illustrate this so we all know these are her words. She says, looking forward to the nice weather coming the next several days. They're almost a slice of nice, sensational. Maybe that's overused by yours truly, but I mean, when you couple them together and you get several slices without the calories, mind you, you can have several slices of nice and still enjoy the weather. I mean, if you have time to go to the beach, why not? And with the rip current risk coming down over the next day or two, I think it's going to be a little easier to be out in the water. But as always, always listen to the lifeguards because they know best and they know the terrain far better than many of us do. So sometimes it's best to listen to those lifeguards. And if you're going to places that don't have lifeguards, maybe you should consider going to a place where there is a lifeguard. All right, back to the maps. The pronunciation, I mean, could we get to Umberto? We got Gabrielle. She's the next name on the list. I like putting this together too, because if you are, I don't know, following the hurricane season, you figure how long will that take to get from here to there? Usually, if a storm forms out here in the middle of the lake down here, it's going to take 8 days, more than a week. But usually when it's less than 2 days away in the red zone, then we tend to get a little more hypersensitive with evacuation orders. We get hypersensitive with, I got to get my preparations in order. So this is why it's always good to have your ducks in order before the season starts so that you're not panicked, right? If it's less than 3 or 4 days, it's usually in this orange area. But I thought this illustration would give you some timeline. We don't have anything that's of interest right now. Could that change down the road? Absolutely. But at least right now, Hurricane Center has it pretty quiet, with the only exception that's still moving away is Fernan. So we'll say farewell to Fernan. Is that fair? Fair to me. Tropical storm outline. Oh yes, and I even added the September 10th because I've said it multiple times. That is the peak. And right now it's the 26th of August, so we still have a few more days, if not a couple of weeks, before we reach the fever pitch historically. And we go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. This Friday is the 20th anniversary of Katrina. Now, if you know anything about the movie or the Katrina, the documentary, because maybe you weren't old enough to live it, it was a Category 5. But then it made landfall as a Category 3. But it wasn't until the levees broke that all heck broke loose. And it broke. It was scary, because if there's ever a case of how not to handle a hurricane, that was it. And then the Superdome, don't get me started. Many of you know that story. It's something that we got to look back and say, how could we not repeat that, right? Let's not have that happen again. But that happened on the 29th of August, and that would be this Friday. So we're about just a few days away from the 20th anniversary. Norfolk's July highs, yeah, we had 16 below normal, 10 above, but we had so much humidity that even when it was 88, it felt like 102. 88 felt like 102, 89, 103. But 105 is the magic number for heat indices or heat advisories. When the Weather Service issues a heat advisory, it's got to feel at least like 105, so you're not always going to get the true markings of how hot this July was. Now contrast that to today. We hit 80. Now think about this, the normal high is 86. So we were 6 degrees below normal. The record high, 97, back in 1954, Dwight Eisenhower, long time ago, 17 degrees below the record and 6 degrees below normal. That's some context. It's been a long time, but the fact that we're ending August on this note, this is amazing. I mean, the fact that we've had 3 weeks plus of below normal temperatures, we've had only 2 90-degree days, and yours truly takes notes, because I'm a note taker. 2 days, we've had only 5 years, 1886, that was one of them. 1907, that was the second one. 1917, that was the third. 1934, and 1966. 2025 is going to probably be added into that list of only 2 90-degree days in August. We've had, now, to be fair, 7 years with 1 day, and only 1 year, in 1927. 1927, we didn't have any 90s in August, which is remarkable. That record still stands. But the fact that we've had only 2 is still pretty, and we're not going to hit 90 between now and the end of the month. We'll be hard-pressed to get it in September, and we've had, 29 days for the whole season, and we average about 36. So it's a little misleading, because if you're just looking at 90s, you don't count the humidity. We had high dew points like crazy. I think it's the highest it's been since the 1940s. You got to look at the whole package, right? Hot and humid July and June, super cool for August. Does it balance out? I don't know. You be the judge. I will let you in on the statistics, because these numbers come by way of Wakefield. NWS 36.2, that's a 30-year average. But we're going to finish the year, likely, unless something dramatically changes, because I don't see much happen in September, and I don't see much happen in October. So we can say we got 2 this month of August, but we averaged 9. And we're going to end up probably about 7 days below average in that department. Another piece of evidence is the Climate Prediction Center. How on earth can you get to 90 when you have multiple shades of blue going right into not only Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina, but going back to Kansas, going back to Oklahoma, going back to the Midwest? Pretty amazing stuff. Luke's got a follow-up note, and I'm glad he's here. He says it's cool out there. I agree. It's one of those things. Are you happy about it? I said you are, but those of you that are watching that are maybe a fan of the hot, sticky weather, do you feel cheated? Do you feel like, oh, I wish it could have been this rather than that? Let me know, because like I said, I'm just the messenger, but I do like to have that conversation because it makes it more engaging if you're involved and able to discuss what you like and don't like. As far as August rainfall, we've had a trace, I guess, last week. Nothing today, but a total of 1.60. So this is another, I mean, given the fact that it's just a point on the map, some of you had torrential rain in August, but at least at Norfolk International, they're going to finish probably closer to 1.6 unless we get something made up here over the weekend. Now the question to you, I want to thank our weather team members, not only Tony Nargi, but also Miles Henderson. Also, what is the record for the consecutive days without precipitation in Norfolk? Does anybody want to take a guess? Some of you might have a guess. If you have a guess, let me know. You have 3 choices: 17 days, 25 days, or 36 days. What is the record for consecutive days without precipitation in Norfolk? Any takers? Any takers whatsoever? I'm going to check the comments. I see Luke says yes. Barbara, while other people are deciding, she says, I can only dream of days under 105. Maybe that feels like, right? But here, the dates over 100 have been unusually October, but occasionally September. I mean, we can have another hot spell, no doubt, but the fact that we've got a couple of cool days in view may actually, why I say we're going to be riding the cool wave, at least for a little while. But thank you so much, Barbara, for that update. Any comment? I got Kim. She says 25. She says 25. Let's see here. Any other takers? I got one taker for Kim. Does anybody want to guess 17 or 36? Those are the other options. Some of you are like, I gotta get into the Google machine. Let me see what the answer is. Is it 17, 25, or 36? Other takers? Oh, Luke says 71. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he meant to say 17, but I will tell you the answer because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I'll put this on the screen. The answer is actually 36 days. That's a long time, and it was actually not that long ago. It was last year, from October 2nd, 2024 to November 7th, 2024, was completely dry. So given the fact that we can have dry conditions in Hampton Roads in October, November, there's a case in point. The record still stands, and that's going back to data going back to the 1800s. So you've got like 151 years of record keeping. That's pretty remarkable, but I appreciate that update. By the way, right now it is about 7:57. I want to just kind of cover some of the things going on around the country if you're in the military, because we have a lot of military here in Norfolk and Hampton Roads. If you have family, maybe you're homesick, want to know what's going on out west. We do have some severe weather popping out in Colorado. Looks like it's in the Rockies themselves. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 Mountain Time for 1-inch hail around Mesa and Montrose, if I have that right, and that's also on the western side of the state. There's also some activity, severe weather just south of Vegas. This looks like it's in parts of Nevada. That would be Clark County till 5:45, and a considerable flash flooding event going on areas around Searchlight. So there's some flooding concerns out there. And in California, if you have family out there, there's some severe thunderstorms popping around San Bernardino till 5 o'clock Pacific time. So that's really where all the active weather is right now. There's some activity in Florida as well, with some rain, but nothing severe, moving across the Florida Peninsula, and then further north, a couple of showers in upstate New York and Pennsylvania, but really not a whole lot to write home about, as some of that moisture is trying to move off the coast. All right, lows today. Are you ready for the information? Our low was at 9:01 this morning. 9:01, we dropped to 74 while it was in the mid-60s in Franklin. So there was a 9-degree difference between Franklin and Norfolk for low temperatures this morning. And similarly, there's going to be a big separation again tonight, where we could be in the 50s and 60s overnight tonight. Highs today hit 80. We did that at 3:50 p.m. 3:50 p.m. in not only Norfolk, but they saw a high in Virginia Beach at 80, 81 in Hampton, 82 in Suffolk. So interesting to see how all that comes about. Got a big wow from Kim. Yeah, it's 36 days, a lot of time, a long time really, to not have any kind of rain. But the numbers again, that's why it's so nice to have a long-standing record like you do here with the National Weather Service. And having worked in Philadelphia, they used to keep records going back, no, they didn't rely as heavily on it, but going back to the founding fathers. So they had, it was a hot summer in 1776, so they would have either Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Jefferson taking notes of how hot it was during those months of that summer. So you got some really long, going back to the mid 1850s at least, going back a long time. But this record, today's record anyway, was 97, set back in 1954. Now we've talked about the dew point. When you talk about the dew point dropping, it's dropped down to about 54 last check. I mean, it's very, very nice. Yesterday it was 70 plus, and a couple of weeks ago, or even last week, it felt like it was about 72 to 75. So it can feel very, very muggy. But what's great is when you see these numbers drop into the 50s, the comfort level has gone up. It's increased dramatically, and the dew point temperature would suggest it's actually right now 14 degrees less humid in Norfolk now than it was this time last night. It's 11 degrees less humid right now in Virginia Beach than it was this time last night. And Currituck, Elizabeth City, 15 and 14 degrees respectively. So you've got some really dry air, very comfortable air that makes me think of one thing, well, maybe several things. Pumpkin patch, hayride, and crisp apple picking. I mean, is it fall? Maybe if it's in the 40s, but we're not there just yet. Some folks are in the 40s in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Kentucky. But look where we're going. This is where our dew points will be for the next 5 days, so you make plans. It's not going to be like bad. There will be a little bit of bounce on Friday and Saturday, but that's still pleasant territory. If you're in the 50s for tomorrow and Thursday, it's super nice, right? It's super inviting. You don't sweat walking to the parking lot necessarily. It's much more easier to take, and it's not the miserable weather that some of us had to get used to. Now, this is where I think pumpkin patch, anytime you see 44, 42, let's just go ahead and circle this area. DC is included. We'll include much of the Adirondacks and the Tug Hill Plateau. These areas in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, as well as Kentucky and Tennessee. I mean, it's almost divine. You go outside and you go, this is fantastic. And some of that's trying to work its way down, but we're not quite as comfortable necessarily. But this is what you normally associate with mid to late September. When it's this dry, when it's this cool outside, you probably think one thing: high school football or college football. I'm thinking Michael Vick, big game Thursday night, but that's just me. I mean, there's a lot going on with Norfolk State, and seeing Mike Vick, hey, coach, big game on Thursday night, and our Mark Davis will be covering that. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Temperatures right now, 71 in Knoxville. It's 62 currently in Beckley, and we have 73 in Virginia Beach. So we've got a lot cooler air back here where some of those dew points are in the 40s. It's just like, it's a page from the autumn playbook. No question about that. Got some other notes. Let's see here. Luke wants to say, he says it's supposed to be hot tomorrow, but it won't. I expect a high of 78. I mean, it could be 2 degrees cooler tomorrow than it was today. Is that weird? I mean, depending on where you are, probably assume there's probably about a 2 degree difference between tomorrow versus today. And tomorrow, I'm siding with 2 degrees cooler. I think that's a win-win. Maybe it's a lose-lose if you're a summer fan. But look at these numbers in green. A lot of cool air is moving across the country right now. Now, it's not cool in, say, San Antonio. Where are they? They're at 92. And it's no longer in the triple digits in Vegas, although they've got some severe weather south of them tonight. It's 96 in Phoenix. But where would you like to teleport tonight? Would you want to be in Denver when it's 63? I mean, it's 65 in Detroit. It's 65 in Pittsburgh. I'm telling you what, this cool air that we were advertising will be coming in starting around the 19th and 20th, but has lingered on, is just icing on the cake if you're not a hot weather fan. If you like the cooler weather, you're like, bring it on. I just give you the cautionary tale that if you suffer from ragweed, maybe think twice before you open up the windows of the automobile or the truck or the house, right? So I'm gonna save some money on air conditioning. I'm gonna raise up these windows. Now you're just inviting some of that ragweed to come in the house, and then suddenly it's settling on your sheets and pillowcases. Yeah, and you're gonna wheeze and sneeze. That's not cool, but just know it's gonna be very high the next 2 days. This is what we're looking at. Multiple shades of blue. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. This would take us well into the early part of September. Got some other notes from you. Luke is here. Kim is here. I got Barbara on here. And thank you, Jessica Lynn, for sharing some of your input and opinions of some of the weather, because I love being able to share that with you. This is a look at our future temperatures as it's now about 8:04. I'm going to finish on time here, I think, a little bit later than I normally would. It's usually about 8:15 or 8:20. But here's what's interesting to see is that when you look at this date here, this is, of course, the 27th. That's tomorrow. Look at the coolness that's just dripping down into Detroit, Wisconsin, New England, some of this cool air. And we're going to put this into motion. So we see the clock moving. Now we're going into the calendar of the 30th into September. It's really hard to envision, while the hot stays hot out west, the cool air just keeps pouring on down. And some of those blue areas would suggest it's cold enough to snow up in Canada, but that's ahead of myself. Look at the coolness by the September 5th. It's not that hot. I mean, 70s as a general rule, even upper 70s would be on the warmer side of that ledger, given the fact that the temperatures in and around the 5th of September do not look that hot at all. In fact, the next 5 days are on the screen. This is what I expect. Luke, I expect 78 tomorrow in and around Norfolk and Virginia Beach. About 82 for Thursday, 83 Friday, but then it's back down into the 70s in time for your holiday weekend. Of course, this holiday being Labor Day weekend, which we're going to look at here, and the rain chances. This gives me a great opportunity to talk about this, because I do anticipate there'll be an elevated sense of rain on Saturday, maybe a pullback on Sunday, but I think it's going to go up to at least 40% on Labor Day, the way things are trending in today's data. Could that change? Of course it can. It's still 5-6 days out. But what's going to happen is that the energy that's coming down from Missouri, coming down from Arkansas and Oklahoma and Kansas, is going to dive down here. It's going to energize this low. So I'll put this in motion. You can see this low is off the coast of North Carolina, and I stop it here for a reason. This is 12 noon on Monday. This is Labor Day. So if you continue to throw back rain into the Tar Heel State, it's also going to bleed into Southeast Virginia. There's really not going to be much to stop it. So if this moves on its merry way, that'd be great. But at least this particular solution says, oh, this thing's going to probably get hung up and probably just kind of loiter and hang around a little bit longer than some would like on a holiday weekend. So I'm not saying it's going to be a bad weekend. I'm just saying right now there's still some of these items that have to be worked out. And one of the things that you tune in here, or at least I hope you do, is to get some first warning weather intel. And that intel, I believe, is the fact that we've got the potential for more rain on Monday, maybe a little bit on Saturday. But until this thing gets organized or hung up and stalled, then that chance of rain might spike on Monday. Let's hope I'm wrong, but this is what this data should suggest going into an unsettled Labor Day weekend. All right, so the Eastern Shore tomorrow, we're looking for a high in Onancock, 76. If you're in Saxes, Bloxham, 77. Exmoor, about 76, 75 in Cape Charles. Oh, yes, and on Wednesday, about 76, Kill Devil Hills. About a 10% chance of rain and duck, 75. And if you're in Nags Head, you're in Manio, about 77 degrees. I'm expecting temperatures about 77 for Rodanthe, and Ocracoke and Hatteras in the upper 70s tomorrow. The Storm Prediction Center, I don't see this very often. When I say this, meaning when there's not even like a light shade of green, this is the no severe thunderstorms, meaning thunderstorms are possible, but nothing severe. I don't even see that coloring when I look at what the maps suggest. Look at this. This is a severe weather threat until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's a nothing burger. There's no severe, although we have already pointed some out in some areas in the Rockies and south of Vegas where severe weather is breaking out. So maybe they might revisit that in the next hour or two, but right now they don't have any severe weather threat that's really pressing between now and daybreak on Wednesday. Speaking of Wednesday, they have this is the Storm Prediction Center, no severe thunderstorm threat across the country on Wednesday, and Thursday matches it with a nothing, no coloring, no isolated, no scattered severe storms expected. So if you have to travel in the next couple of days, it should be pretty benign and pretty easy as well. Here's the future cast as we're going to round things up. Notice how the clouds do a disappearing act. What time is this? This is 11 o'clock tonight. So if you're watching this live right now at 8:08, by 11 o'clock tonight, it would suggest that some of these clouds, like over Ahoskie, Franklin, Williamsburg, disappear, and maybe a few scattered in Virginia Beach. But what happens when you wake up? Mostly sunny, and maybe a few wispy clouds. Winds out of the north-northeast, generally 5 to 10 tomorrow. But I think really it's a pretty pleasant day. If you're struggling to get to 78, that's a pretty good day. By midday, maybe a sprinkle, a stray shower, 10% chance over the Outer Banks. That's a 12 noon projection. And by 5 o'clock, maybe something over around Chowan County, maybe around Edenton. There could be a sprinkle. I mean, there's not a lot of evidence to suggest a shower tomorrow, but we'll keep a 10% in just the same. Thursday looks partly cloudy, maybe more sunshine for Virginia, more clouds for North Carolina. That's the way this shapes up, at least at the start of noon, where there's a little more sunshine in Williamsburg versus Elizabeth City. But even still, it's not going to take out the sun entirely over Duck or Ahoskie. I think there'll be some opportunities for sunshine, hazy sun there too. So for tonight, if I said 60s for lows, that would be most of us here in Hampton Roads, but there are going to be some 50s. I mean, look, Franklin 59, Cortland 59, Murfreesboro 57. I mean, there's going to be some opportunities for some cool air. About 66 for Norfolk. Look for a high around Melfa at 59. So there's some opportunities to drop down. Get a little cool, especially for kids that might be headed to the bus stop first thing tomorrow morning. Wednesday afternoon, we'll be struggling to get to the upper 70s. South side, Peninsula is about 81 for North Carolina. Highs tomorrow, about 79 Franklin. 80 for Windsor, Ahoskie, and Elizabeth City, and look for a high in Virginia Beach of 77 degrees. Cape Charles about 75. Highs should reach about 80 for Chesapeake, Moyock 80, and our friends in Matthews, beautiful Matthews County, 78 degrees. Newport News 79. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. So 82 Thursday, 83 on Friday. I think we've explained the uncertainty right now about Monday itself. Right now, I left a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. If we get a break, it's because the system is either stalling or not stalling, but we'll revisit it tomorrow. But even still, I think the hope is that we'll get a lot brighter on Tuesday. You're like, boo, that's when I'm back to work, Aldrich. I know, probably that's when you're back to work. But things work out that way sometimes. But temperatures are going to be very comfortable. There's nothing extreme here when you got highs for the 3-day weekend, generally in the mid-70s. It's a pretty slice of nice. Even if it is raining, it's not going to be too terribly humid, all things considered. Time for some happy shots. Virginia Beach clouds. This is from our friend Nick. Thank you for sharing this great picture with King Neptune in the foreground. Virginia Beach sunrise from our friend Mr. Wynn. He captured this as well. Beautiful sunrise. I love that. I believe it was just a day or so ago. And this was from last night. Lisa captured this great sunset from East Beach. Lisa Lynn, appreciate you capturing that photo for us and be able to share it with. Now, we have a great WTKR photographers group, which is where this is coming from. We think you'd really like being able to see that. Join that group if you like to take photos. We'd love to be able to share that with you as well. One of the other things I'd love to share with you as well is the lunch combo from Marco's Pizza. Because between 11 and 3 tomorrow and through this week, right through Saturday, you can actually save a lot of money with $7.99. We get you a small one topping. If you like pepperoni, you like sausage, you like mushroom, you can get that and a 20-ounce drink for just $7.99 if you use the promo code WTKR lunch. Maybe you prefer a pizza bowl. Maybe you'd like to try a Pizzoli. You've never tried one before, but you get a beverage, you get a drink as well. Maybe it's a Pepsi product, maybe it's a tea, whatever. But there's also the regular size salad, 20-ounce drink. You get 5 choices to get the $7.99, and you have to do that between 11 and 3. I did that last time we had this promo code. It's really convenient, especially since you're going to probably spend twice that, or if not more, if you go to a drive-through anywhere else. So I love the fact this is the deal of the week, and they love weather. Marco's loves weather, so there's the connection. Some people ask, what's so special about Marco's? Well, they give back to the community, and so much so that they're giving away free pizza for a year, which looks like this certificate. This certificate will be issued a winner on Thursday. We did it last week. We've been doing it every week, and when you look at there's 12 for one winner there, we've given away hundreds of pizzas now since the 19th of May when we started this experiment. So we'd love to have you participate. All you have to do if you want to sign up is go to our webpage. It doesn't take long. It's about a minute or two because we will mail the certificate to you if you are a winner. You go to WTKR.com/Marcos. locations. There's going to be a new location opening up just about a stone's throw from Great Bridge Middle School. So South Battlefield Boulevard likely to open in the month of September. I'll get more details from Marcos coming up, but that will be 2 locations in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk and 3 in Virginia Beach that are participating in the contest. So very thankful for them. Also very thankful for all of you spending the time here. We want to satisfy your appetite by having that special $7.99 lunch combo available tomorrow and all through this week from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. All right, so if there's any other comments, let me double check. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I have, but I do thank you all for being here. And one of the things, I took a couple of days off. Yesterday was a birthday. Thank you for all the well wishes. I got quite a few of those too. But it's always nice to be able to recharge your battery. And so here I am, excited about the cool wave, riding the cool wave right into the new month of September. Well, just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if the weather is serious, if there's a hurricane off the coast or not off the coast. Every day, just remember, every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. So make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.